Alright, Spicy Decks of the Week, where we look at all the really cool Spicy decks that had success in tournaments, did really well at the King of Games level, either reaching COG or got on a win streak there. So we have a couple new decks or new cards from the most recent box and level up rewards. Starting out with Fluffles. This is the first place anytime deck from Dave. This deck has been doing pretty good in tournaments, getting a few tops here and there. It's not the best deck out of the newest boxes and the newest sets that we've gotten, but it's a pretty solid one. Definitely can get you to King of Games, definitely can have you success in tournaments. It's a really nice OTK deck. They have a couple really cool tools to help them do that. Of course, you have the Fright for Tiger, which whenever you summon this thing, fusion summon, you can target cards up the field up to the number of materials used to summon this thing, so you can blow up multiple cards with it, clear out the board really easily. Summon the Fright for a Wolf, which lets you attack multiple times throughout the battle phase. So with these tools, you can very easily wipe out your opponent's board, attack directly, swing for game. Going first, the deck can struggle a little bit more, but you have some tools to help you survive that. You have Kiteroid in there. You also have the Fright for Sabertooth whenever you summon this thing using 3 or more materials. Can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects, so certain decks can have trouble outing that. So you definitely have a few different tools at your disposal. You also have access to 2 Toy Vendor right now, which is a really good card to keep your engine going and get the various cards you need. With this deck, we also run Prescience as our skill, so you can see the top card of each player's deck until the end of the 5th turn. This is really useful for Toy Vendor because you know when you're going to have a fluff at the top of your deck in order to trigger the skill, or trigger the card's effect, be able to summon it and get the most use out of it. It also helps knowing just what your opponent has coming too, so you basically just know what their next few draws are going to be, which can be really helpful in a number of different situations also. Getting in the deck list, we have 3 Fluffal Dog, 2 Edge and Sabers, 3 Fluffal Bear, 2 Fluffal Owl, 2 Kiteroid, 1 Cat, and 2 Fluffal Wings. We have 1 Fright for Fusion, 2 Toy Vendor, and 2 Polymerization. Getting in the extra deck, we have the 1 Sabertooth, 3 Fright for Tiger, 3 Fright for Wolf, and then the 1 Constellar Ptomaly M7, rounding out the list. Next up, we have a Hero deck. Now, Hero's got a really cool new skill that just came out recently called Favorite Duel. So it has 2 main effects. The first part is you can send a Elemental Hero normal monster or a Neo-Spacian monster from your hand to the graveyard. Or I guess any E-Hero monster doesn't need to be a normal. Then you can send an E-Hero normal monster or Neo-Spacian from your deck to the graveyard, and you get to add a Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand, or from outside your deck to hand. So you don't lose any card advantage. You're discarding a normal monster, and you get a Miracle Fusion in your hand. So if you draw those, normal monsters you usually don't want to draw, you can actually take use of them. And then you get to put all the material you need in the graveyard to be able to go for that fusion summon with the Miracle Fusion that you're getting for free. So really powerful skill, really neat because you can actually make use of things like Elemental Hero Flame Wingman and other cards that you usually would never get to summon just because they're not usually that great without a skill to be able to bring them out really easily. So it's just really cool that we get to use some of these anime cards, take advantage of them in a way that we wouldn't be able to otherwise with this new skill. There's also a second ability that when you summon Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, you get to set a Skyscraper from outside your deck onto the field as well. So another really cool callback to the anime series that you get there. But yeah, this is a really good skill, really cool. You have to run some E-Hero normal monster in here, but again, with the skill, it's not a bad thing to draw them, and you actually kind of like drawing them. So really fun deck to play with. I've been playing with it. I'm looking forward to doing a full deck profile on this in a few days. But digging into the deck list, we have 3 Elemental Hero Stratos, 1 Neo-Spacian Grand Mole, 1 Neo-Spacian Aqua Dolphin, 1 Bacon Saver. We can send this to the graveyard with the Neos Fusion and help protect ourselves to survive. Because again, this is sort of a turn-by-turn thing. I may have forgotten to mention, you get to use it 3 times per duel, where you get to send the normal monster from your hand to the graveyard and search your deck, or get a free Miracle Fusion to hand. So 3 times per duel you get to do that. So it's good to sort of drag out the duel for a couple turns. You don't want to be winning on the first turn. You're going to be usually trying to drag it out for 2-3 turns, summoning your fusions every turn and wearing your opponents out. So you got the Bacon Saver in here, 2 E-Hero Neos, 1 E-Hero Sparkman, 1 E-Hero Avion, and 1 E-Hero Burst Lady. You also have 3 Book of Moon in here, 1 Miracle Contact, 3 Neos Fusion, 2 Book of Moon, and 2 Hero Blast. This card is really, really good in this deck for a couple reasons. First off, you return a normal monster from your graveyard to your hand, and then you can blow up a card on your opponent's side of the board that has attack equal to or less than the card you added back to hand. Your opponent doesn't actually have to have a monster for you to activate this card, so you should be able to activate it, get the monster back to your hand, and then activate the skill, send it to the graveyard, go for another fusion summon. It's just really helpful, so if you don't draw into a bunch of your normal monsters, you can just get them back to your hand and still activate your skill multiple times with it, while removing threats on your opponent's side of the board, having interruption on there. This card is really powerful in this deck, and I'm really glad to see this card being useful. I used to use this card in the TCG back in the day, so glad to see it having some use here in Duel Links. You also have 1 E-Hero Divine Neos, 1 E-Hero Grand Neos, 2 of the E-Hero Brave Neos, one Shining Flare Wingman, one Aqua Neos, and then the one Flame Wingman rounding out this deck. Alright, so next up we have a Red Eyes deck. Now this one actually managed to get top 16 in the GG Tour tournament, which is no small feat considering these things usually have about 200 something players in them. They're hosted by DLE, so getting top 16 with Red Eyes is definitely no small task. We have the Red Eyes Roulette skill here. This is going to let you add a Red Eyes monster or Red Eyes card from your deck to hand and shuffle one from your hand back in your deck. Basically just letting you filter through to try to get to the Red Eyes spell cards that you really need to get to your fusion card, insight to search it out, all that good stuff. Getting into the actual deck list, we have one Gearfried, the Red Eyes Iron Knight, one Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, one Mana Dragon Zernatron. Now this card is really cool. I've seen it used in Amazon back in the day. So if your opponent removes or destroys or banishes one of your back row cards, a spell or trap card that you have set, you can activate this card from your hand or the graveyard. You can special summon this card and then set into your spell and trap zone any spell or trap that you have that's in your graveyard or banish. So if your opponent Cosmic Cyclones or MSTs the back row, activate Zernatron's effect, summon it to the board, and then bring back a spell or trap from your graveyard or from your banish pile back to the board. So this is one of the only cards that's going to help protect your back row from both MST and Cosmic Cyclone. Really cool to see this card being used because I don't see it used often enough, I don't feel like. We also have 3 Red Eyes Black Dragon in here. We have 2 MST, 2 Book of Moon, 3 Red Eyes Fusion, 3 Red Eyes Insight, 2 Red Eyes Fang with Chain, and 2 Red Eyes Spirit. Remember, you need to have a certain number of Red Eyes cards in the deck to trigger this skill. In the extra deck, we have 2 Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, 1 Meteor Black Common Dragon, which is the newer fusion monster that Red Eyes got a couple boxes ago, which helps them OTK very easily, dealing some damage, swinging for 3,500 damage. This card is definitely scary and can help end duels very quickly. Red Eye Slash Dragon, this is sort of your grind card, the one that can negate targeting effects, protect itself. Certain decks can really have trouble outing this card. Still very powerful. We also have 1 Dark Armed, the Dragon of Annihilation, and 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. And then last up, we have a Super Heavy Samurai deck. Now, Super Heavy Samurai actually got some support recently in the form of level up cards. Gong Strong got a couple new ones. He first off got this new little level 2 tuner monster with only 100 attack and 800 defense, but has a really cool effect though. If all monsters you control are Super Heavy Samurai and you have no spells or trapped in your graveyard, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level, send both it and this card from the field to the graveyard, and special summon from your extra deck 1 Super Heavy Samurai Synchro monster whose level equal the total of those 2 monsters. It counts as a Synchro Summon. So this is going to let you fuse off with Synchro Summon off with your opponent's monsters, which is a really powerful effect. It does target, but beyond that, it is a great way to remove monsters that either can't be destroyed by battle or by card effect, or otherwise difficult to get rid of. This is a phenomenal card to be able to remove your opponent's threats and slam down a huge old Synchro monster in the process. A really neat effect there. They also got a new Synchro monster. These are all each 1 copies each, right? Because you can only get 1 copy by leveling your character, so you can't get multiple of these right now. But we also have a new Synchro monster. It's a level 12. You need 1 Super Heavy Samurai Tuner and 2 non-tuner Super Heavy Samurai monsters. But it's a level 12 with 4,800 defense, 4,800 defense, and 2,000 attack points. It can attack while it's in the fence position, and if it does, it applies its defense value. Once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards, then target that many cards your opponent controls and destroy them. Once per turn, you can banish all spells and traps from your graveyard, and if you do, inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each one banished. So, discard 2 cards, blow up 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field, attack for 4,800 damage. This card is absolutely nuts. It ends games really quickly. Yeah, this card is absolutely insane. It is incredibly powerful if you can get it onto the board. So, Super Heavy Samurai got a really cool new finisher with this thing, and it seems like it's really fun to just slam this thing on the board and just steamroll your opponents with it. So, getting into the deck list, we have Heavy Strong Strategy as our skill. It can be used once per turn if you have no spells and traps in your graveyard. Change all Earth monsters you have to defense mode, and the defense of those monsters increase by 200 for each defense mode monster you have. So, you can easily boost this thing up to over 5,000 attack points, and the rest of your Super Heavy Samurai monsters to high values. Use it twice per duel. We have 1 Super Heavy Samurai Big Benkai. We have 3 Samurai Wagon, 1 Battle Ball, 3 Soul Piercer, 3 Soul Peacemaker, 3 Big Waraji, don't know how to pronounce that, 3 Flutist, 3 Giga Gloves, 3 Trumpeter, we have 1 Drum, and 1 Soul Beads. And then the extra deck we have the Super Heavy Samurai Steam Train King, the 2 Stealth Ninja, 2 Ogre Shootin' Doji, 2 Swordmaster Musashi, and then the 1 Beast Kyuubi, rounding out the super heavy samurai list. So what do you guys think of all these decks? Let me know which of these decks you guys would most like me to see put into a deck profile video and do a full like breakdown on it, and actually like play some games with it and do some gameplay and all that stuff. So definitely planning on doing it for a couple of these, but let me know which one you guys want to see most. Beyond that, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the day.